Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see the concept of the scope of variable. Here let us see first of all what is a variable. Variable are the identifiers. It can hold some value during the program execution, and the variables are declared anywhere inside a class or a method block which contains an opening curly brace and a closed curly brace. That means any declaration of a block starts with the open brace and closed with the closing curly brace. So here what is a block? A block is termed as a scope. That means when you start a curly brace, that is a block, and when you close, that is the end of the block, and inside the block the variable has some access or some meaning, that is called as a scope or the lifetime. So the scope is the lifetime or the accessibility of the variables inside a block. So now here scope decides an object's visibility to other parts of the program. So that means other parts of the program means program consists of some local parts, global parts within the class, within the method. So there are different parts of the program, the objects or the variables are visible. So the scope only decides whether the particular variable is a global variable or a local variable or an instance variable. So here the code logic determines the types of the variables required for the current program. And now lifetime mentions the time that the variable can be used. That means some variable lost the value when it exits out of the method, or some variable has the scope within a function, or some variable has the scope within the program or the block. For example, to say a local variable resides within a method, within its method. For example, that means if we are declaring a variable inside a method or a function, so that is called as a local variable. When the execution comes out of the method, this local variable has no meaning for the other parts of the program. And what is global variable is, global variable resides for lifetime of the class. That means it is not local, it is global in that sense. It can be accessible to the class as long as to the class methods or other block of the code, as long as the class scope exists. That means within the class this variable is accessible throughout. That is called as a global variable. And then a stat instance variable, this lasts for its lifetime. That means this is created as long as the class is existing. So here the class, actually what is the instance is, we are creating an object for an instance. So as long as the object exists, this variable life also exists. That is called as an instance variable. So these are all the three types of variable: local variable, global variable, and instance variable. So this definition is based upon how the lifetime, so these variables visibility defines the lifetime of the particular variable or an member. So now next one is, let us see one by one what is a local variable. A variable declared inside the body of the method is called the local variable. You can use this variable only within that method, and other methods in the class aren't even aware of that variable exists. When you see the example, we will be able to understand it's better. So here that means this variable belongs to one particular method. Other method even need not know the particular variable is existing or not. That is called as a local variable. So a local variable cannot be defined using the static keyword. And then next is instance variable. Instance variable is declared inside the class but outside the body of the method. That means it is like a member of the class. So it is called as an instance variable. It is also not declared as static. That means the variable, whether it is local or instance variable, it cannot be declared as a static variable. Next one is and it is also called instance variable because its value is instance specific and it is not shared among the instances. Actually what is instance is, you define a variable inside a class. So that class, that is the instance of the particular class. So here a class can have multiple existence by inheritance, and this particular instance variable is not shared by the other instances of the class. That is called as an instance variable. And then the static variable, a static variable which is declared static is called as a static variable. That means you have to use the keyword static. It cannot be local. You can create a single copy of the static variable and share among all the instances of the class. That means this static is the global variable. Any part of the program can use this static variable, and memory allocation for static variable happens only once when the class is loaded in the memory. That means once you declare a variable as a static variable, it is allotted a portion of the memory to load its value, and that particular space is fixed for the variable. Okay, so it's like a global variable. Let us see with the diagram or the chart how does this lifetime and the scope of the variable. So here variable type, scope, lifetime, instance variable throughout the class except in static methods. As we define the variable as a static, we can also define the method as static. So this instance variable is existing throughout the scope of the class, but it is not inside the static methods. And what is the lifetime of this instance variable? Until the object is available in the memory. That means once you create an object for a class, and as long as the class is existing, that means as long as the object is existing, the lifetime of this variable also exists. Actually, when you create a class, the class is a template. Only when you create an object for the class come into role. That means the class is activated through the method only. As long as the object is not created, you cannot activate the particular object. Okay, so that is the concept of this instance variable. And then what is class variable is? The class variable is the variable that is defined as the member of the class. Throughout the class, the lifetime of this class variable exists, and this lifetime of the class exists until the end of the program. The scope means the accessibility. When you say it is a scope, the scope is throughout the class. That means we can access the variable anywhere throughout the class. And how long it exists? It exists until the end of the program. And then what is local variable? Local variable is the variable that is declared within the block in which it is declared. That means only for the block. And what is the lifetime? The lifetime is until the control leaves the block in which it is declared. Actually, what does it mean is the local variable has the control unless it leaves the block in which it is declared. So let us see the same with the type of this variable with the chart. What is the variable type? Instance variable, class or static variable, or the local variable. So instance variable declared inside the class but outside the method. And what is the class or the static variable? It is declared as static. It is called a static variable inside the class. And what is the local variable? It is declared inside the class, inside the method and the constructor. Here, actually what is the constructor is the method which has the same name of the class. So that's all. Again, it is being given in the same diagram, the definition of the instance variable, class variable as well as the local variable. So here, these are all the example just to explain you how this instance variable, static variable and local variable is defined. So the class A, so the class is the keyword and A is the class name, open the brace, and then int data is equal to 50. So this is the variable of the class. We also called as a member of the class. So this is called as an instance variable. And here it is again like instance variable, but it is given as a identifier as static. So static is the keyword that says any variable or a method can be a static. So it is a static variable. And we know that class is a collection of member and methods. So these two are the members and this is the method. Now we are defining a method called method is the name of the method, and it returns nothing. So void is the identifier used. So now void method, and then actually what this method does just is assign the value of n is equal to 90. So this variable n is declared within the class, within the method. within the class, but within the method. So within the method, this is called as a local variable. So we should know the difference between this variable data and this variable n. This data is declared as a member of the class, a data of the class, but this n is defined as the member of the method. So this is called as a local variable. So this local variable is declared for any method. So that, and now we have to close this open brace. So how many open braces? 2 braces are open and it has to be closed. So that's all. So these are all the ways the variables instance, local, and the instance variable and the local variable are declared. So now this particular variable